What we are experiencing a lot of is interest in cross-border payments, cross-border flow, investing in China, Chinese investors moving out of China, typically through Hong Kong, where we are providing a lot of the financial plumbing and risk management services. So in that sense, we're just investing in the region.
We saw Singapore as your biggest profit center last year, and Hong Kong, of course, has retaken its place since then. Yeah. Is the outlooks and earnings continue to be driven by Hong Kong?
Well, for us, Hong Kong, Singapore, mainland China, India, the UAE, which is our third largest market, Korea, which is a very big market for us, which is steadily improving year to year to year. These are all important markets. One of the challenges for us in mainland China and Hong Kong has been the commercial real estate market. So a lot of that mainland commercial real estate loan exposure is booked in Hong Kong, which has dampened our profit over the past couple of years. But we're still generating record income in Hong Kong. And as that proverbial rat passes through the snake, i.e. the losses in real estate are passed through. And whether we're completely done or close to done, I'm not sure. But we've taken our share of pain. The growth story is undiminished. And that's what we're looking forward to. And Hong Kong and Hong Kong, China, let's say there's two different lenses, are both growing quite nicely.
China's reopening has been a little bit less than expected. We had been expecting a huge boost on the reopening post-COVID. Have you had to readjust your outlook given what's happening with China's economy, weaker than expected? I mean, today's exports numbers were down more than 6%.
Yeah, I think we have to keep in mind what China is going through. I mean, China is going through a major economic transformation. And they're doing that against the backdrop of a number of exogenous shocks, obviously starting with now 2 wars around the world and the aftermath of COVID. So I think against that backdrop, 5.2% growth, a little bit volatile from period to period. The third quarter was surprisingly strong. Some of the data that's coming in now is a little bit weaker. But the path that they're on, which is gradually decompressing, call it the old economy sectors, and accelerating in the new economy sectors. I mean, think electric vehicles and everything around sustainability and renewable power technology. In those areas, China is absolutely booming. So no surprise that with some things drifting down, other things accelerating up, it'll be a bit bumpy, and two, the headline figures won't be as exciting as they would have been if it was full speed ahead. But I think what China is building is a much more resilient, more sustainable and stronger economy, and that, of course, plays to, as a very long-term investor in and around China, that plays to our strengths.
StanChart shares got punished on the back of your latest quarterly report card with the impairment from China Bohai Bank as well as to China commercial real estate. Your exposure to China's troubled property sector, is there a need to set aside more cash for this, and are you cutting exposure?
Well, we're cutting exposure by writing things down. So yes, but and we're not materially adding to exposure except in very specific situations. I think we're very well provided against the market. Of course, each quarter we think we're well provided, but we continue to think that we're ahead of the curve. The situation up until very recently has deteriorated, and I think we have to recognize. I mean, some of the household names have actually gone into formal restructuring processes. Are we done? I think it would be imprudent to call the bottom, but I think we're well into the second half of that property decompression, and the Chinese government is taking steps to support the market and with some important policy initiatives. So I'm optimistic that problem is materially behind us. I'm sure that we're very well provided given the situation today, and that's just sort of full speed ahead in China, and we'll leave that problem behind us.